Hey, hello, welcome to the Griffon Show. Great to have you with us as we rock and roll. A lot of people out there celebrating Mardi Gras. Trust me, it'll be celebrating, especially if you get below I-10. I think most of the people in the middle of the state and above the state, they celebrate it really a little bit earlier than the actual Mardi Gras. I'm not saying it's not some out there. Don't get me wrong, folks. Please,
They're celebrating down here before Mardi Gras.
This is ending a 3-week celebration down here because people out there having a good time. So anyway, I pray everybody will be safe. As a matter of fact, in North Louisiana, most of those folks in school, Brandon.
Really?
Oh, yeah. There's no week off. And if it is, I apologize. There's no week off. And even down here, it's not a week off for some. Some off on Monday and Tuesday, back tomorrow. So, anyway, 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. By the way, Bell Edwards is calling a press conference today on Mardi Gras to talk about his great trip in Washington, D.C. You think that's planned? He's doing it today when I-10 South and all the people in the press will be covering the Mardi Gras events that are going on. But he's going to call a press conference like who gives a flip about what he's going to say anyway. It's amazing. By the way, folks, you're getting ready to be inundated. I already saw the articles. Inundated on how tax reform will change the state. Tax reform. None of this is tax reform. Raising taxes is not tax reform. It's raising taxes. It's not tax reform. It's not even close to tax. You're going to see something that's not even close to tax reform, but you're going to see Jim Beam write about it. You're going to see the Advocate write about it. You're going to see the Gannett newspapers write about it. It's not tax reform. It's not even close to tax reform, which you're getting ready to see. Anyway, I got all that. We're going to cover all that as the program unfolds, what this really means. And I can tell you right now, they're trying to get as many taxes as they can so they can say, see, Bill Edwards saved the state. Bill Edwards, look, no mid-year tax cut. That's what they're trying to do, and they're going to convince you to vote for him for re-election. And it couldn't happen. But we got such weak Republicans that are in there, and they're going to give in. Well, this is the best we can get. And that's why the temporary taxes they passed last year was bogus and shouldn't have been done because now they got them. They got the Republicans right. It's amazing. Republicans on the House and Senate, and the Democrats got the Republicans right where they want them. Right where they want them. And you're going to see the cave-in of spineless Republicans again. They're going to do one of two things. They're going to cave in, Brandon, or they're going to give in to more temporary taxes. You don't realize, Brandon, I know Brandon goes, you're young, and sometimes you got to explain what the Stelly bill is. Stelly bill was called tax reform. It wasn't. They took a temporary sales tax that stayed on the books. They voted on it every 2 years, and it extended out over 16 to 17 years, and they finally said, we want to get rid of that. Food on tax and utility. It was on food and utilities, Brandon. Those are needs in your life. That's what you and your bride has to pay for. And they convinced people under Mike Foster, and then they sent it out to the voters, and the voters were so fooled by real tax reform, and then we got so mad, and we got rid of it. Well, that's what they want back. They want your income. So this is not tax reform. That's why those temporary taxes were put on us, and that's why Republicans voted, because they don't have the insight to see, oh, my God, if we vote for this, then they're going to come back and come with a worse tax. And we either got to keep this sales tax, and everybody's going to see the numbers. Highest sales tax in the country. We got to get rid of that. And they're going to say, what would be the best thing? Income taxes. They won't just take money directly out of your pocket. So, anyway, you're going to see Republicans give in. They always do. One thing you can count about a Republican, most of them, they're going to give in. They're going to give in. They own the House, they own the Senate, and the Democrats win. Who was happy in the special session? Democrats. Saw all the pictures. Francis Thompson. He got some project, I'm sure. John Alario. By the way, there's some stuff on him as well. And then I saw my man. Let's get some jobs in here. Bubba Cheney. I'm sure they got to drive and show Bubba where Baton Rouge is at. Get some jobs. How you going to get jobs here, Bubba? I don't know. Let's just get some. All right, well, Bubba knows. Bubba. What was that? Forrest Gump was the Bubba something. What was that?
Bubba was his buddy
Bubba Shrimp
in the Army.
What do you call it? Bubba Shrimp something? Remember he had a shrimp company.
Yeah,
They called it
uh-huh.
Bubba's, and it went all over the place.
Yeah.
Bubba Cheney. Maybe that's what jobs he was talking about. All right, let's jump gears, though. I want to play a report, Brandon. We may have to go a little long. I know it's about 6 minutes. Lee Zurich, my man Lee Zurich, on Colonel Mike Edmondson and the crap they're pulling. This guy needs to go. Does Bell Edwards have the guts to kick him out? He put him in there. All the Sheriff's Association wanted Edmondson to stay in there, and it's only controversy with this man. Lee Zurich special report.
Got to queuing it up right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, anyway, Lee Zurich did a great job. Another report. I want y'all to listen. Colonel Edmondson. And by the way, the guy that resigned, Lloyd Grafton, he says Edmondson has no credibility when it comes to the truth, lavish spending, accepting of gifts, taking credit for award others have earned, destroying evidence, and the list goes on and on. Folks, that's a lot of accusations by somebody that just got fired. You ready? All right, here we go. Lee Zurich.
Tonight, that question whether State Police Superintendent Mike Edmondson knew about a Las Vegas side trip by 4 of his state troopers. The governor has launched an independent investigation. Governor Edwards told us today he's asked his administration to conduct a full investigation into state police travel. Tonight, we have new questions, new findings, and a new interview with a legal expert who says the troopers may have committed a crime. When 4 state troopers drove a state vehicle 350 miles off course to spend a night in Grand Canyon National Park, the other on the Las Vegas Strip, Tulane law professor Joel Friedman says they broke the law.
They are taking public money for work that was not performed. F-R-A-U-D. This is fraud. This is a crime.
State Police Superintendent Mike Edmondson tried to tell us driving provided cost savings for taxpayers. Why did 4 people drive there?
We were going to rent a car when we were there. And one of the things I looked at is the fact that maybe we can save some money by allowing these individuals, I don't have to pay them airfare.
Who thought driving there was going to be cheaper than flying them there?
Well, when you first looked at the airfare, which was...
It was $300.
Well, depending on when you bought that airfare, Lee.
But Edmondson's reasoning doesn't seem to match up. For example, records show Trooper Rodney Hyatt registered for the mid-October conference on September 14th. 2 weeks later, Hyatt's supervisor, Greg Graffia, bought a plane ticket for the trip. It cost less than $400.
Why is anybody driving? Why is a group of people driving?
They say it's cheaper.
It's impossible.
Edmondson did tell us Hyatt's wife also rode in the car with the 4 troopers. Our investigation also uncovered the employees charging overtime while they may not have been working. Edmondson repeatedly sidestepped questions about that being potentially a criminal violation. Is that theft, though?
I'm embarrassed by it.
No, but
I don't think it's right at all.
But is it illegal?
I don't know that it's theft, Lee.
Let me ask you this. If you're driving from northern Arizona to Las Vegas, it's a 4-hour drive, and you put down on your timesheet that you worked 12 or 14 hours that day, what is that then?
It's appalling. It's appalling. It's embarrassing.
Edmondson says the employees will be forced to pay back overtime.
Don't tell me it's wrong. What are you going to do about it?
Is them paying back the money enough?
No, it is not. That is not enough.
But as we investigated further, we came up with even more questions.
This is very serious. You mentioned so many different kinds of violations.
We mapped out times these employees used their gas card and matched that to hotel stays, drive times, and payroll records.
Somebody's heads have to roll.
The night of October 11th, the 4 troopers stayed at a resort hotel in Tusayan, Arizona, in Grand Canyon National Park. That afternoon, the troopers purchased gas at 2:43 in the afternoon in Kingman, Arizona. That's a gas station on the way to their next stop, Las Vegas. That gas station is a 2-hour, 30-minute drive from Tusayan, which means the troopers possibly left their hotel around noon that day. Still, according to 3 of the troopers' timesheets, they went on the clock at 6 that morning. The next day, gas charges in Vegas show they likely left their hotel around noon, but timesheets show they went on the clock at 8 that morning.
And you asked him, is this a crime? And he said, it's appalling. Well, it's a crime. We call it fraud. I mean, he has taken public money. Many of them took public money under false pretenses. They took public money for private purposes.
Each timesheet, each expense report had to be approved by a supervisor. Captain Greg Graffia approved the expense report for Rodney Hyatt. The deputy superintendent, Charlie Dupie, appears to approve many of the other overtime and expenses.
Assistant superintendent, totally unacceptable. I mean, they know better than this. They know this is not appropriate. And the fact that they signed off is what tells me this is standard operating procedure.
But as we first told you last night, at least one of the credit card statements that included a Las Vegas and Grand Canyon National Park charge appears to be approved by State Police Superintendent Mike Edmondson. The signature on this document, with Edmondson's name printed under it, appears to match the signature on one credit card statement with charges in Grand Canyon and Las Vegas. Edmondson told us today that's a signature stamp. His assistant stamped and approved the expense. She thought they were routine charges that were fine. Joel Friedman says the whole story sends the wrong message to taxpayers and troopers.
How can people have respect for law enforcement when they do this sort of thing? And how can law enforcement people, the most of whom I'm sure are trying to do the right thing and are serving the public and are putting their lives on to protect us, and they see this kind of thing, I bet there's plenty of people in the rank and file who don't like this because it makes us think they're all like that, when they're probably not all like that. But when they allow this kind of thing to happen, and if it goes unchecked, unpunished, then Katie barred the door. Anybody can do whatever they want to do.
Just so we're clear, Edmondson is saying his assistant reviewed the credit card statement and stamped his, Edmondson's, approval. If that's true, it raises even more questions about policies and procedures at state police. That would mean Edmondson is allowing a subordinate to review documents he is responsible for and allowing that subordinate to essentially sign his name, signing off on the spending of taxpayer money.
But there is an investigation underway.
All righty. By the way, folks, I know it's Mardi Gras for a lot of people. You hear me play this again. Mike Edmondson need to go. He's nothing but trouble. He's nothing but controversial. And I'm really interested in what Grafton's comments. I don't know him, but if I could get him on the air, I would. Lloyd Grafton. He was the Louisiana State Police Commissioner. That's gone now. I would love to see what he has to really say about it, because his accusations are heavy. Somebody outside the governor's office should be investigating this, not the governor's office. We'll take a break. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show, 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. We'll be right back. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline is the number. Donald Trump with a picture on the Drudge Report. It must be with the Black Caucus, because he's the only white dude in the room. And then Kellyanne, is that her name?
Kellyanne Conway.
She's sitting on her knees on the couch, texting, and it says, "Make yourself at home." State of the Union. By the way, people celebrating Mardi Gras here. State of the Union's tonight. You know, we're celebrating Mardi Gras down here, but around the rest of the country, everything goes as it goes. And
I'm addressing Congress tomorrow.
It's tonight.
I mean tonight. That's what I meant
tonight.
to say.
State of the Trump. Yeah. That's what they call it, State of the Trump.
Because I don't think it's technically the State of the Union. He's addressing Congress in a similar manner to the State of the Union.
Yeah, well, you're correct about that, but it's like a State of the Union.
Yes.
He's addressed, and I'm surprised some Democrats going to show up. I didn't hear of anybody not showing up. They didn't show up for the inauguration. Hell, why come to this? By the way, fourth quarter GDP left at 1.9%. And I told y'all this. When you go into debt, when you print money, the next thing to have $10 trillion debt on Obama. Remember Obama? I ain't going to play it again, Brandon, I promise you. Obama blamed Bush for $4.5 trillion. He runs up $10 trillion. Nobody says a word. Nobody writes about it. Nobody in the press. And that slows economies down. Consumer confidence, however, with Trump is soars to a 15-year high. 15 years. That would be under Bush and then under Obama. 63% say better for country if Democrats would try to work with the president. Wow. That ain't happening. So anyway. And by the way, one of the things that Trump did by saying he's going to be tough on illegals, illegal immigration drops 27%, Brandon. Wow. They know he's getting ready to do something about it, trying to do something about it. That's going to encourage people to get the hell out. I'm talking about illegals. Not talking about anybody illegal here. And it encouraged people not to come in, which I think are both good without lifting a finger. But all you got to do is enforce what's already on the books. It's amazing to watch. 844-766-6607. I want to go back real quick to Lloyd Grafton. Remember, the Louisiana State Police Commission sent a letter of resignation to Governor John Bell Honor-Code, who, by the way, needs to get rid of Edmondson. He doesn't get rid of Edmondson. He proves he's the same old hack that everybody else has been in the governor's mansion. He's no different. As a matter of fact, he's the most liberal. He may be more liberal than Edwards and some of the other ones. With complaints about Superintendent Edmondson. And you heard the piece. And Brandon, by the way, send that, if you can, that piece to Jennifer on the Facebook. And I just posted something, by the way, at Facebook, Moon Griffon, Friends of Moon Griffon. You need to go check out. It's dealing with salaries in some higher ed boards. You need to go read this. It's a real short read. It's only 3 of them. Look at the percentage of increase. Gigantic increase. Gigantic increase on salaries, and they're crying they don't have enough money. By the way, they probably up 7-8% in this last budget. But Lloyd Grafton says, Colonel Edmondson, and by the way, C.B. Ferguson showed this guy for who he is, as he was trying to get more money in the retirement system for him. Bill Edwards gave him a raise when they went in. Him and co-governor Jay Darden gave this man a raise when he went in. Go check the numbers, folks. Brandon, would you try to pull that up? You might have to look for it. It takes a second. Louisiana State Police Commission, Colonel Mike Edmondson, his salary as of last year, which was 2016 or 2015. Go back to 2015 and see if he had an increase of pay. Okay, let's see. Because if I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong. So anyway, Lloyd Grafton says Edmondson has no credibility when it comes to the truth, lavish spending, accepting gifts, taking credit for awards others have earned, and destroying evidence. The list goes on and on. Now, folks, that's heavy stuff. Yes, sir. Am I wrong?
No. Well, and here we go. Let's see. All right, so here we go. This is, according to The Advocate, this was back in September of last year. First line, State Police Superintendent Colonel Mike Edmondson, along with at least 4 of his top deputies and the State Fire Marshal, quietly obtained hefty raises last month, with some getting as much as a 32% pay bump. Edmondson now makes $43,085 more than he was making prior to August 1st, when most of the changes went into effect. That's according to data provided by State Civil Service spokeswoman Lindsay Ruiz de Chavez.
So you think I don't remember things, huh?
Brings his salary up to $177,436.
Now, here's what happened, Brandon. It's amazing. Okay. His retirement's going to be probably based off his last 3 years. Bill Edwards gave the man a $43,000 pay raise the year after he tried to get himself a bunch of money in the retirement system. This guy's got to go. We'll be right back. Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. History. Hickson has it hot. History. Hickson has it hot.
I thought you said that.
History. History has it. Hickson is our hotline. Oh, Brandon, I promise you it's not the first time I tangled my words. And I bet you before the show's over, it won't be my last. I promise you. Yeah, there it is. Brandon sent it to me. Advocate Mike Edmondson. Bill Edwards gave him a $43,000 raise because, and to be honest with you, the sheriff's department, his brother's one of them, pushed him. 32% increase by Bill Edwards, who, by the way, he gave Jay Darden a big raise, too. He gave a lot of people raise. After they bickered about what Jindal did, he's actually doing the same thing. That's what blows my mind. One-time money, raiding trust funds, okay, talking about tax reform, which is, let me say it again, there is no tax reform coming to the state. It's tax increases, period. There is no tax reform. We will have mid-year budget cuts again. Okay? That is such a setup. But there's Edmondson, who should have been fired by Jindal, was rehired by Bill Edwards and gave a $43,000 raise, 32% increase. I want you to think about that. You realize Jay Darden, because he knifed the Republican Party, he knifed him bad. Jay Darden's salary was $115,000 as lieutenant governor. Then, of course, he got his rear end drilled in the election, but he's helping run the state as co-governor. He went from $115,000 to $237,500. He's going to have his 30 years in. His salary in retirement, instead of it being based off $115,000, would be based off of $237,500. Now, let me ask you a question. I don't have the numbers in front. If you've been there over 30 years, and it's based off your last 3 years, and you got 31, 32 years, whatever it is, what is the retirement for that? $200,000 a year? So it was pretty easy for him to knife the Republicans. Department of Public Safety, State Fire Marshal, it got a 32% increase. He went from 103 to 137. Now, if we're broke, and Bobby Jindal was so bad, and by the way, he was bad, how come they're giving all these pay increases? This is something they bickered about and complained about when they were running for election, about what Jindal had done. Okay? That's just what's going on. And by the way, I guarantee you there's state troopers out there that are embarrassed about this. They out there doing their job like they always have. And there's Edmondson, and just what Grafton said, you know, he gets the pay raises, no credibility. He should be gone. And Bell Edwards, he's such an honor code guy. Why would you put somebody that is so controversial? And everything's about him, it seems to me. I don't think it's even about the state police. And you better start talking about him. He's with the state police. Nope. Just being honest. I'm just doing what I normally do every day. And Colonel Edmondson, Jay Darden, and the Bell Edwards. One of the things that I want y'all to watch out for is, and I'm just telling you what's coming. It's already started. The press is going to keep telling you. They're going to keep quoting Jim Richardson, who was on the revenue estimating conference, who is one of the guys that they take the budget and they say we're going to have a surplus or we're going to not have a surplus. We're going to be in the red and deficit. And he's been doing it for 14 years, over 14 years, and it never gets right. It's never right. He's telling people we're not spending enough money. And as we know from Brett Guyman, our economy over 14 years, basically personal income's going up 2.2% a year. Our economy's grown 3.9%. So really 2 to 1. And the press, the Advocate, the Times-Picayune, the Gannett with Greg Hillman, who couldn't tell the truth if it punched him in the face, and Jim Beam are going to keep telling y'all if we can do this tax reform, which is not going to be tax reform, and they're going to shove this down y'all throat. And the problem is these little weenie Republicans that are down in Baton Rouge are going to give into it. We're going to have a tax increase. It's going to be major, bigger than the one we had. I'm predicting a $1.5 billion increase on what we had, which is $2.8 billion. And what they're going to do is they're going to rock people to sleep to believe that this is real tax reform, just like they did with Stelly. And we all know that was not tax reform. That was tax increase. So they're going to constantly tell you people this. Let me tell you what they did. This is why the Republicans shouldn't have voted for them temporary taxes. The reason we had Stelly was the income tax increase and lose some of your deductions and all that stuff that hit us is because we accepted a temporary sales tax on food and utilities. It was supposed to be a 2-year bridge that ended up being 16 to 17 years, and I may be wrong by a year. And then they turned it into an income tax. And then people started getting hit with it, and they went to their legislature and said, get rid of this crap. And we did. You had some guts, and Jindal signed it. Jindal didn't want it either, but he ended up signing it because the legislature, that train left the station, and Jindal got in a jet and went in front to the next train station. When the train came by and stopped, he jumped on it and said, look, I'm leading the charge. But he really led the charge against it. Typical politician. What's happening now, by them voting for these temporary taxes, those come off the books next year. So they're going to be selling you, said, look, we can't have the highest sales tax in the country. And they're going to tell you, we're going to get rid of 1 cent, is the one they just put on us. And they're going to tell you we have to do this. And here's where the Republicans who don't understand what they're doing, who gave in to the temporary taxes, are going to be in a bind. Here's the bind. We can vote for the temporary sales taxes for another year or two. Or we can change tax reform where we can lower the sales tax, of course, on our poorest people. And we can get some real tax reform. And they're going to declare victory in the Gannett newspapers. They're going to declare victory in the Advocate. They're going to declare victory in the Times-Picayune. And here's their strategy. If we can go a year or two without deficits, we can get Bell Edwards reelected. Because we're going to tell everybody the story, how this man came in and inherited a budget from Bobby Jindal. And he had to take a year, too, and he got it straight, and it's all good now. And I'm giving you the headlines, and if I'm still here, God willing, I'm going to tell you. Didn't I tell you this, Brandon? Remember, I'm not planning on firing you. You may quit me, but I ain't planning on firing you. Remember I said this, Mr. Como. Remember I said what they're going to call. They're going to declare a big victory, and they're going to take that money, extra money they got coming in while you and me struggle to pay our bills, and they're going to be paying their bills, and they're going to be telling you how great the state is. And if we got unemployment that's rising, they're not going to tell you about that. They're going to have a grand story. And the sad part of this is two of the major players on this, John Bel Edwards voted for 5 of Bobby Jindal's first seven budgets. He's big part of why we had the problem. And John Hilario voted for 8 out of 8. And Francis Thompson voted 8 out of 8. And nobody complained but me at the time. Every time they mentioned Bobby Jindal, they could put Bobby Jindal / Bel Edwards / John Hilario's budget, but they don't. Because their goal is to reelect the one-term governor, to fake you and fool you and censor. Well, at least he stabilized the budget. It was better than when Jindal was here. That's what's coming. If they can pass all their taxes, they think that's what's coming. And they couldn't do it if Republicans had something in their pants. When they go to the bathroom, sometimes they probably can't find what they need. Let me take a phone call. Howard in Shreveport. How you doing, Howard?
I'm blessed, Moon. How about yourself? You sound like you're doing good.
Dude, I'm blessed. I woke up, and the good Lord always gave me a good day already.
I know that's right. A couple of points I want to make with regard to this state finance issue thing. Number one, I filed an income tax return last year. I was due a $190 income tax refund from the state. I still haven't seen it. I figured they must have paid part of the bill with it. And secondly, if the Republicans that we have elected to fix the problem are not going to stand up and help us fix it,
they're not.
Then maybe we ought to, then maybe we all as citizens ought to take a little revolutionary stance. And I won't file an income tax return this year. I'll straight up say, Mr. Edwards, you listening? No, I won't file a damn income tax return this year.
Don't do that. I don't want you to get in trouble. I know what you're saying, though, but I'm not. If you're counting on Republicans in the Senate, just write that off.
I'm not.
It's a matter of House Republicans. We own the House and the Senate, and the Democrats are the one high-fiving and clapping. This is all about trying to get Bel Edwards reelected and say the budget got stabilized under him, and yet it was under these guys that budget's problems started. We got to go. We'll take a break. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. I don't have the blues. But today.
All right, the three listeners that were on now left. Thanks, Moon.
We'll pick up another one. 844-766-6607. Hickson has it hotline. By the way, Mr. Como, Brandon texted me last night with some awesome-looking food at his bridemaid, crawfish etouffee on top of tilapia. Now, by the way,
baked potato. I put
everything that was in there
on the baked potatoes.
Well, it looked good, so I just happened to be at Shucks last night. So I ripped him a picture of some raw oysters and some shrimp cocktail.
We both ate really well.
But the good news is I got a chance again to go eat the boiled crawfish at Shucks. Folks, they got a lot of places cook good crawfish. But if you like boiled crawfish, they only serve them Monday through Thursday. Of course, they close today. But you got to go check. Beautiful size, fat crawfish, some of the best I ever put in my mouth. And I'm not just saying that. I like to cook my own crawfish. And they did a wonderful job. So if you're in the mood for boiled crawfish Monday through Thursday, go to Shucks. And, of course, their oysters were salty last night. Oh, my God. And I like medium to big. And they had all different sizes. But, boy, the oysters are great. The food's great. The atmosphere is great. David and Bert do a wonderful job. And their waitresses, a lot of them who've been working there a long time, once they see you and know you, you're like family. And that's what Shucks does. It treats people like their family every single day. Now with boiled crawfish on the menu with all the other great fresh seafood. If you're in the area, you're coming from out of town. Now, listen, I just had a buddy of mine call me. I don't want to mention Brian Adams' name, but he's coming in town, and his first question is, are y'all free to go to Shucks? And of course we're always free to go to Shucks, man. So anyway, I have to make a second visit this week. Brandon breaks my heart, but I'm going to try to get over it. 844-766-6607. 6607. Hickson has it hotline. All right, are you ready for this now? All right, Wes in Jackson, Mississippi. Or from Jackson, Mississippi. Wes, how you doing?
Good, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Right on.
I can't hear him.
Okay, your phone's kind of fading out on you there, Wes. Go ahead again.
I'm sorry. I'm driving down the street right now.
All right, go ahead.
So why are Christians so in uproar about feeling discriminated against recently? I mean, you guys are asking for like more religious Christian rights, but every religion has rights in this country. It just seems like you're trying to add.
Wes, can I ask you a question? What the hell are you talking about? Christians are being discriminated against since Jesus Christ came on earth. I mean, you act like it just happened yesterday and people are offended. We're offended. My Lord, Obama offended us too. And listen, I don't know where you're going with all that. Where are you going with this?
I'm talking about the executive order that Trump is trying to do with religious rights in America. Apparently, a lot of Christians feel discriminated against because
they are. They don't have to feel they are. They're all by the press. They're all by the left. I mean, they're discriminated against big time. What's the problem? We already know that, but that's you realize that's biblical. We were told that a long time ago we would be discriminated against and hated.
Why do you feel like you're just? Why do you feel like you're just? How are you just so discriminated against? I mean, why do you need?
Oh my God! Do you not watch all the stuff that goes on? If you're a Christian, you get slammed, slapped, jabbed, jicked. No matter what happens in your life, it happens in the press. They love to slam Christians. They love to do that. I don't. You sure you're in Mississippi?
Oh yeah, I'm positive.
Okay.
I've been living in Denver for about 5 years.
Let me ask you a question. Let me flip it on you. What you got something against Christians? People that believe in Jesus Christ?
No, I have nothing against the religion of Christianity or anything.
Whoa. See, that's your mistake. Christianity is not a religion. It's a way of life. Nothing to do with religion. Religions are like Catholic, Baptist. That's a religion. Okay? I'm talking about strictly Christianity. There's a big difference. Are you an atheist?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Well, listen, brother. Listen, there's no way you being an atheist, and look, I'm being honest with you. I'm not being ugly. I'm just being honest. It's no way me and you are going to agree on a lot of stuff. We're just not. We're just not going to agree. We're not going to see the world and see the things. You're not going to see the things like me. And I promise I'm not going to see them like you either.
That's fair. I'm just curious. I'm just a curious human being. I'm not trying to, be mean or attack or anything.
You haven't been mean at all.
Okay, so can I ask a question, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I just want to know why Donald Trump has to feel like he has to sign an executive order to give Christians more rights in this country.
They're not, but let me tell you something, Wes. Where did you get? We gonna get more rights. I don't see any executive order coming down saying, okay, you Christians, y'all get all the rights now. Everybody else is not going to get them. That's not what he's getting ready to sign. And besides, I haven't seen what you're talking about where Christians now are going to get rights that you don't have.
Okay. Christian, religious rights.
Okay, religious rights.
Okay, that's what it's about. Okay, but everybody that's talking about it is bringing up the fact that they're attacking the Christians. Why? I mean, every other religion in this country is discriminated against just as much. We're not a Christian nation.
Well, I agree with that. We're a post-Christian nation, and that is our problem. We're a post-Christian nation. We were a Christian nation. I'm not arguing with you on that, Wes. We're a post-Christian nation right now. And if you go look at non-Christian nations, I would not want to live in them. And that's what we would become if it's not stopped. So, hey, I appreciate the call. I appreciate you identifying who you are. I believe in Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior. I think this was a Christian nation. I think it's a post-Christian nation. A lot of us are fighting to hang on. We're all fighting to hang on to the true heritage of the United States of America. Did we have problems, slavery and stuff? Absolutely, because we're not perfect. But to go live in a hellhole like Russia or Iran or Iraq or Venezuela or Cuba, do you really want that to be like this here? Let's go to Thomas and Rain. Thomas, how you doing?
Hey, good, Moon. to address the last caller, obviously he watches CNN and nothing else. But to address him, it goes back to the bakery where the woman didn't believe in gay marriage. She didn't want to support that union, so she didn't want to bake the cake.
And by the way, who was discriminated against? You could have went and get a cake from all these other bakeries who don't care about your sexual orientation or nothing. Instead, what you do is bombard that company because they're Christians and because of their Christian faith. All you had to do was say, you don't want my business? Fine. I'm going to somebody else. And then when you see people say, don't go to Moon's Bakery, he don't cook for people that are gay. And so what happens is you're going to tell your friends and then don't go there anymore. That's fine.
And then you still have Hobby Lobby who didn't want to, their issue. And then you also had the nuns who didn't want to have to buy contraception or, and they were forced to do that. And that, again, it's all against religion, their religion, but that's okay.
Yeah, but let's face it, being an atheist is a religion. You choose another way, but you're choosing a way. I just find it amazing. But like I said, God's a nice guy. I wish him best of luck. Me and him are not going to be on the same page unless he becomes a Christian or I become an atheist. And I'm not going to become an atheist. So it's going to be hard for him to see what I see. Very hard.
He's not going to see it. I agree with you.
And by the way, that's not a cut on him because there was a time I didn't know the Lord. So that's not cutting him. I hope he does. My prayer is for him that he would see Jesus Christ one day. And when he does, and I pray he does, maybe he'll call back and say, I see what you see now. Let me move on. Monroe, we go. Kevin, how you doing, sir?
Moon.
Yes, sir.
In 2 weeks, March 15th, the federal debt limit is reached.
I saw that.
Do y'all know that?
Yep, and guess what? Here we go again, raising the debt limit so we can spend more money. It's coming, you know it.
Well, Trump said he's not raising it. He's going to cut $75 billion a month out of federal spending, and a lot of people are going to get hurt. There's no way they're going to be able to do this without cutting Social Security and Medicare. That's coming.
You know what? I'm going to wait and see. He's a different cat. Let me see what he says he's going to do. People that have Social Security, they've earned that. I'm talking about people that have worked and paid into the system. Kevin, you might be right, but we got to wait and see. Anyway, and by the way, that's 2 weeks. 2 weeks from tomorrow, Brand. We'll see what they do. All right, we got to take a break. More of the Moon Griffon Show. If you'd like to be part of the program, Hickson has it hotline as always. We'll take a break. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. Hi, y'all. Welcome back, Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has it hotline as we rock and roll. And, of course, I'll get folks, Walk-On's official sports bar, the Moon Griffon Show. Not just sports bar, folks. Great place for families to go and have a good time, eat some great food. Walk-Ons. They have one near you or one coming to you soon. All righty, 844-766-6607. Hickson has it hotline. On the Hickson has it hotline, Colonel Rob Manus joins us. Colonel Manus, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, Moon. Happy Mardi Gras.
Yes, sir. And I'm doing great for a big dummy. I'm one of the only ones working today, so I'm looking across the hall. Yeah. I think there's two other people in the building. Brandon's brought his gun, so we're in good shape.
Okay.
Anyway, what's going on?
Well, we're having these pro-Trump, pro-America First policy, Spirit of America rallies across the nation. They started yesterday, and we did our first one over in Mandeville. And the day before Mardi Gras, I really wasn't expecting more than 50 people, and 150 patriots showed up.
Wow.
From all across the political spectrum. They were just average citizens. We had a great time, and we've got 3 more coming up in the state. And I wanted to get a chance to put that word out there to your listeners. I know you got listeners all over the state. The next one is going to be on March 3rd in Monroe.
Yeah, my old home stomping ground.
Yeah, March 3rd, 11:30 at the Lee Joyner Bridge. There's going to be a group of patriotic Americans gather to do sign waving and those kind of things. And then March 4th is the main day of this first set of rallies, and the first one's going to be at noon at the Bossier Courthouse grounds in Benton, Louisiana. Reverend C.L. Bryant is the headline speaker there, amongst many, many others, including the most highly decorated veteran in the state, Ron Chatelain. And then I will be heading up the one in Baton Rouge on the Capitol steps at 1 p.m. Saturday. The weather forecast is looking real good for it. We'd love to get everybody out there. We've been advertising it through my pack. Gator Pack has been paying for advertising and paying the fees to get the venues and pay for security and those kind of things. Just come on out and show a positive, patriotic, and upbeat theme for our rallies and show how real Americans do it instead of trashing the place and being violent and screaming and those kind of things.
Yeah, that would be totally different than what the left's doing because they have nutted up, and tripped out, and freaked out, and everything else.
That's right. And
by the way, nothing wrong with protests, Colonel Manning. Nothing wrong with protests. Nothing wrong with getting in a town hall meeting and asking the questions. But we got some. We'll play it through Cassidy's deal. They shooting down the name of Jesus and God and prayer and a veteran doing doing the pledge. I mean, it's just unbelievable what these people would do.
I was there outside the venue. I arrived too late to get in. They had limited seating and everything, and we saw similar things outside the venue, just people full of hate and intolerance. And you know what? The people that elected Donald Trump were not just Republicans. They were from all walks of life, and these rallies are intended to be inclusive. Autry Pruitt, African-American gentleman who is a national Trump presidential campaign surrogate, will be the keynote speaker in Baton Rouge. As I already said, C.L. Bryant's going to be the keynote speaker up in Benton at the Bossier Courthouse grounds there. We're going to have a whole host of speakers from across the political spectrum, as a matter of fact. But they all have one thing in common, Moon, and that is they voted for Donald Trump. And really, the most they have in common is they support the policies that the man is implementing, and he is moving fast, and we're very pleased to see that he is moving fast. I can't wait to see the speech tonight.
Colonel Rob Main is my special guest. Yeah, I just kind of got a kick out of the people on the left really don't believe in free speech. They believe in their speech, in their way. And if you don't, then the name, homophobe, racist, all that stuff comes. I wish they could sit back and see how stupid they really look. I wish they could sit back and see how they're making idiots of themselves. And I personally think it backfires. I think there are people that vote Democrat a lot. They'll vote Republican some, but mostly vote Democrat, that are bright people, business owners, good family people. They just still in the Democrat Party, and they kind of still vote that way. Those are the people I think going to sit back and go, this party and these people are so making such fools of themselves. I'm never voting with people like that because that is the left. They're showing who they really, really, really are. They don't want free speech. If I say, you know what, I believe in traditional marriage, a man and a woman, the way God intended it, now all of a sudden I'm homophobic and crazy. I mean, they just go out. But I can believe that in America. Can I say it without getting beat up, shot at, dogged, and cursed? You sit on the other side and believe, oh, marriage is for everybody, anything, anytime, anything goes. You have a right to believe that. Okay, you really do have a right to believe it and say it, but it don't make it right. It will never be right. Marriage is a man and a woman. In God's eyes, I don't care what man does to it. And so you get criticized and ripped for having your opinion, and mine's based in fact. Theirs is not.
Mm-hmm. That's right, brother, and you're right on it. They don't really understand the First Amendment. Even a lot of the folks in the press that has all the money right now don't understand the First Amendment, and that it's their duty to exercise their right to free speech. It's to be a free press. In the last 8 years of Barack Obama, the press was his lapdog. That's the biggest disappointment I've ever seen in my lifetime, I think, because they didn't hold him and his administration accountable. And these guys on the left that are damaging people, individuals and property and screaming and hooting and hollering and stuff, they can protest all they want, but do it within the First Amendment, which says you can peacefully gather and air your grievances, and that's just fine. And we can do that. I have a friend that doesn't agree with me on my position on gay marriage. I believe marriage is between a man and a woman. But you know what? We have something in common. We're both Donald Trump supporters, and we're both supporters of the United States of America. And that's what brought people together to vote for Donald Trump. So I'm putting a call out to everybody that wants a strong America. These rallies are about, you're going to see people included. Nobody's excluded. They're nonpartisan. They're here to celebrate America. the spirit of America that has made this country great, and that's going to make it even greater under the Trump administration, so that we're prosperous, we're free. You're free to speak your mind, whether you believe in natural marriage like you and I do, or the other way, without being feeling threatened of harm. You're free to be able to protect yourself with the Second Amendment. You're free to be able to criticize institutions like the press, the Congress, even the presidency. You know, as my friend Steve Bannon said in his interview at CPAC last week, he said, "Hold us accountable." That's the one line the press isn't covering. That guy is the immediate assistant to the President of the United States, and you have never heard words like that come out of one of these alligator career politicians' mouths. Not
well,
one time. Steve Bannon is right next to the president.
It's amazing. After 8 years, they held Bush accountable and then accused him of everything under the sun for 8 years. Barack Obama came along. They should have vetted him. He never becomes president. For 8 years, they didn't vet him. They didn't challenge him. They didn't ask him any tough questions. They went along, got along. Here comes Trump. We right back to it. We're ripping him. We killing him. Can you imagine? In the United States of America, we got the press. All they want to do is destroy the people they don't like and lift the people up they do. That is not their job. That never has been their job. MSNBC did say the other day it was their job to tell people what to think. I mean, that was MSNBC. It's our job to tell people what to think. It wasn't Trump's job. It was their job.
I saw that. Micah Krasinski and a Republican, so-called Republican, on Morning Joe said that it was their job to tell people what to think. Well, I hate to tell them this, but they are not the free press. The free press are the people that criticize something when it needs to be criticized, and they put out positive messages when it should be put out positive messages. And I'm not seeing any of that from the so-called mainstream media. I'm only seeing it from the folks that don't have all the power and all the money in the media, and that's the real free press, and that's who I support. Shows like yours and all kinds of shows and digital outlets and paper outlets all over the country are real free press. But these people with all the money, like CNN and MSNBC, I think the president's right. I agree with him. They're fake news media. They're a bunch of propaganda tools for the Democrat Party.
By the way, we just spoke to an atheist for 2 minutes. We didn't agree. I don't think we could ever see from the same glass eyes. I'm hoping one day he will understand and see what he needs to see. But I mean, he got every freedoms and rights in this country as I do. I'm not better than him. He's not better than me. But he's welcome to call in and disagree with the good-looking host. By the way, I didn't say all my guests were good looking, so don't get cocky on me.
Now wait a minute.
I didn't say all of them, Rob. That's all.
I knew you said I was better looking than you.
No, you did. The only thing I said, you're the same age as me. All right, Rob, we got to go. Thank you, Colonel Rob Manus. Can I go to GatorPack and find out the information on this?
You can go to GatorPack.com,
okay.
GatorPac.com. There's a big button on the home page. It says update for rallies. The first one's already happened. I'm going to do another email update and press release update today or tomorrow and put pictures of that rally out and then remind people of the next.
Got to run. Thanks for the call.
Big button right there on the home page.
All right, brother. Thanks. Roger, on the road. You're up next. Wow, Brandon. Wow. You saw that? Incredible. 3 killed, 2 injured. A small plane crashed into a house in Southern California. Hey, you think it's your time? You're sitting there minding your own business. We'll be right back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline if you'd like to be part of the program where you can be a voice on the Moon Griffon Show. You're a good-looking host. Well, it's just my opinion. By the way, nobody's ever agreed with that. Check us out on Facebook, Friends of Facebook, Moon Griffon Show. Got some numbers on there. Higher ed keeps crying about money, but go look at the salaries for some of the people that oversee higher ed. You're going to be blown away. It's right there on Facebook. People want information. There it is. All right, Roger, waiting patiently. Roger, thanks for waiting on the road somewhere. Roger, how you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm good, Moon. And it's like I was telling Brandon earlier, I'm not a Christian either.
Okay.
But under the same token, this isn't an attack on Christians. It's an attack on the freedom of religion. Mm-hmm. And the freedom of religion says that I don't have to do what's against my religion. And in the same token, about that lady that didn't want to make the cake, her religion tells her she doesn't have to. And furthermore, every business has the right to refuse service to anybody they want. Now, if you want to get out and tell your friends not to go to that business, that's your business.
Sure. And by the way, when I talked to the guy and that was brought up, that's the same thing I said. Okay, if let's say you came to my business and for whatever reason, I said I don't do that kind of stuff. I can't do it for y'all. Dude, all I do is, this is me. You can't, you won't do that? Well, thank you. No problem. I'll find somebody who can. I'd walk out. And I would find a person that would do it, because I promise you, when you put $1 on it, Roger, somebody's going to do it. You know that. Somebody will do it.
Actually, Moon, the gay man that walked into her business and asked her to make the cake had no problem with it. He knew her. He was friends with her. She said, I can't make a cake for a gay wedding. He said, okay, that's fine. It was the government that stepped in and told her.
Well, but somebody, and by the way, I agree with you, but somebody ran with the story. But my point being is the government had no business in that. And I guarantee that guy was going to find somebody that was going to take his dollar. They were going to take his dollar and do what he asked. So, but that person gets belted and pelted by not only the government, the press, and they run them. And that's what's wrong about it, Roger. I think that's what's wrong about it.
That's the point I wanted to make to that guy. It's not an attack on Christians. It's an attack on belief. It's an attack on freedom, period. You know, let me
ask you a question. I go into your place and you're Muslim, and I want you to make me some, you make great sandwiches, but I want a BLT with pork. And you go, I'm not making that for you. I said, why? Y'all make everything else. Y'all got it. We don't even make that. I'm not going to be offended. I might go 2 stores down and they make the best BLT in the world. On the flip side, they can't get offended because I want to eat pork.
That's right. I agree completely.
So anyway,
I'm not a Muslim either, by the way.
No. Hey, you told me you didn't believe in God, and I wish in the Lord, and I wish you did. But that's your choice. I mean, that's your choice. So I'm not saying that as you do. I'm just saying in general, if you do, you can flip it and put it on me. I'm fine with that.
No, I love me some bacon. I mean, the point is,
we may go. Hey, I tell you what, we'll go eat. I'll talk to you about the Lord, and I'll buy the BLT. How about that? I mean, I'll do it. You can eat a free sandwich on me, brother.
I'm on a seafood diet, man. If I see it, I eat it.
Well, look, there's not many things I don't eat either. Hey, look, I got to run, Roger. God bless. Appreciate it, man. Best of luck to you.
Have a good day.
All right, 8-4. Brandon, could you see me and Roger talking over a good BLT? Roger would be the type to go, that was pretty good, but that second one might be better. Hey, Brandon, Brandon knows I would do that to you. Let's go. Mike on the road. Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Moon. Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
Reason I was calling, since Edmondson and his cronies crossed state lines doing their little criminal acts, couldn't the FBI be called in for an investigation on that and circumvent John Bell Edwards, let Jeff Landry request the FBI investigate it?
Yes, they could if they want to. Yes, they probably could if they wanted to. I tell you, and Landry might can too. I don't know, but I know this. Bell Edwards hired him, gave him a $43,000 pay raise. We didn't want him in there. And I'm going to tell you right now, there were a ton of state troopers wanted him gone. And they didn't do it. They went against it because the Sheriff's Association, see, Bell Edwards acts like he's Mr. Holier than Thou. He cuts a deal with Jay Darden to knife Vitter and then puts him in the place to help him run the government. And he did the same thing with Edmondson. The Sheriff's Association said, we want Edmondson. We will back you if you put Edmondson back in there. And he cut that deal. And this is an honor code guy who's cutting deals left and right that hurt us. So, yeah.
My thinking is if he gets convicted of a federal offense, he'll lose his retirement, Edmondson.
Well, I don't – see, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a judge, and I don't know if it goes to that at all. I don't know. Don't mean it doesn't, but I don't know that to be factual. But, yeah, sometimes they can – stick their hands across things. So can the Attorney General. I don't know if that's it, but I know this. Trusting Bell Edwards to do something right on this, I don't trust. Just like Jay Darden, he went to D. Richard, I don't know if D's listening, and said, hey, don't go after those contracts. I'll go through every one of them, pull your bill, and I don't know if he pulled it, but anyway, they never did get those contracts cut that John Kennedy talked about. And Jay Darden was going to go through every contract. Well, guess what? It's been over a year. I hadn't heard Jay Darden talk about the contracts not one time. Not one time. So I wouldn't trust these guys. I wouldn't believe them.
Little news just
Thanks for the call, Mike.
Little news just coming in as Governor Edwards' press availability scheduled for today has been canceled.
Well, you remember I mentioned earlier that he was doing a press conference on Mardi Gras and nobody's going to be paying attention to him. So he did cancel it?
It's canceled. The press availability scheduled for today has been canceled.
He couldn't get the free pub he was going to get, so we're glad the governors are still listening to us like they've done many, many times in the past. By the way, Brandon, you ever heard back from them doing the interview?
No.
Is it worth still sending it out? I will take my equipment. I will take my equipment, go to the mansion. He can put the state police around me. I'm not going to be intimidated. I'm going to ask him every question I want to ask. I will be polite, nice, sweet, Innocent Moon. That was my nickname in college. I would be Innocent Moon. We'll be right back. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. Brandon, I do want to play. Did you pull up the Carlson and Bill Nye? But they had the other one, though. You had the ones on the town hall. Which ones are we going to next?
Well, whichever one you desire.
Mardi Gras Parade canceled after vehicle plows into a crowd in Gulf Shores, Alabama.
Yeah.
I guarantee you they were drunk. Man, people can't have fun doing anything. All right. And we got some calls we're going to go to as well. Brandon, let's do the one at the town hall meeting. Todd Storns says his headlines was Town Hall agitators explode at the name of Jesus. Do you have that one first?
It's ready to
All
go.
Right, here we go. My God.
You're supposed to be up there.
All right, that's good, Brandon. That's at the name of mentioning the simply mentioning Jesus and prayer, and the left and the Democrats hate that. And most of their party is lined up with people who hate Christians. And a guy called earlier. The press is lined up with them, too. What was that, Brandon? Now?
Well, we got another one as well from that
same by the way, this is
hall.
Bill Cassidy's deal when he said they booed Jesus, basically.
Yeah, this was, let's see, was this the one in Metairie? Trying to see.
It was Metairie.
Yeah, this is the Metairie one. Okay. All right, so here's the other one. He can't even say the Pledge of Allegiance.
But the Pledge of Allegiance was done by a veteran, and they booed him on the Pledge of Allegiance. See, they don't want the America that we grew up with.
They pitching fits in the audience like a bunch of petulant children.
That is Brandon. That's the left. The left. They just don't have the moral boundaries. So they just. Let's go. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. Miss Becky in LeCount. How you doing, Becky?
Hi, Moon. I am doing so good. You know, I came to Christ within the last couple of years. And like you.
By the way, let me ask you a quick question. By the way, congratulations. Best thing ever happened to you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Let me ask you a question. Did you start seeing things in a different perspective?
Oh,
not everything, but in a lot of things.
A lot of things, man. A lot of things.
It makes you realize a lot of things. It makes you appreciate things. And it makes you appreciate where your future lies in. But
yes.
But you can see where I can say me and somebody that doesn't. I'm not saying we all agree on everything, but you can see where you could disagree with somebody who who doesn't believe at all. It's just it's hard to see things in the same perspective. And the left has become the left. If you look at what they're doing, they hate the name of Jesus. One thing about that name's going to make you react one way or another.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
A Coors Light may not, or a Coors Light may not, or a person may not, or an issue may not. But put the name out there and the freaking out starts.
Because it brings peace to the heart of a person. And I would suggest, if you'll give me just a minute, Moon, our young man who was an atheist, I would suggest that he read a tiny book that's in the public venue for free called Anthem.
What is it called again?
Anthem. Anthem, written by Ayn Rand, an atheist. And if he'll read that book, he will discover that on the farthest right and the far left, we have people who want to play us against one another to become little demigods and control us.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the issue. It's private property controlling us so that they can be little demigods over the rest of the world. And once they get close to their agenda, they will become friends and play us even bigger.
Yep.
But if he'll think about, and I hope he will, that Christ followers, not religion followers, Christ followers, think to themselves, I want to do and for and with my neighbor what I would do for and with me. And that's all it is. That's the important thing.
Yep.
And I thank you.
All right, darling.
You.
Thank you so much. Oh, my God. Who's up next? Colonel Cornelius in Alexandria.
Colonel, thank you. I'm glad you gave me
Colonel Cornelius is on there.
Colonel Blink. I see nothing. I know nothing.
I'll tell you what, that's who me and you probably are close to.
I want to thank that handler, that Brandon Como to Showmo. Moon, you're the Mardi Gras man. They say, le bon ton roulé, let the good times roll. This is Fat Tuesday.
Yep, and I'll be honest with you, after eating that shucks, I'm a little fatter today than I was yesterday, I promise you. It was a fat Monday for me, but
it was a fat Monday.
Anyway.
Moon, I was glad that your little girl's doing fine too.
Yeah, Maddie, and by the way, I didn't give an update, but she really basically had the flu, and Tanya stayed on top of it. I stayed with her Thursday and Friday, and I went out of town, but Tanya stayed with her. I'm talking about Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, right by our side, and Monday, and kind of doctored her back to health by the grace of God. So we're thankful right now, I can promise you.
But anyway, Maddie, I hope you have a happy Mardi Gras and everything. Enjoy the parades and the beads and everything. I can tell everybody I'm the God, Guns, and Gold man, the Bible, Bullets, and Beads man now for Mardi Gras. But Moon, just like
but we hadn't seen any shootings yet, so they probably got.
Oh no, we don't want to shoot nobody now. But anyway, like Colonel Rob Maness, we need to go to these pro-Trump things and everything and try to support Trump.
Yep. All right, brother. Appreciate the call, man. All right. Who we got next? We got to take a break. Oh, David Falk. How you doing, Mr. David?
Could not be better, Moon. Hey, I want to thank you and Brandon for Mardi Gras for us today.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it.
Well, somebody's got to hold the fort down, and you guys are wonderful.
Actually, except for maybe one program, everything's pretty much live the whole day. I think there was only one, but everything's going to be live on KPEL, so you're still getting news and everything that you need to get every day. All day today, Mr. David.
Good. That's great, Moon. Well, I wanted to call you and give you and KPEL kudos for being recognized last night on the national media by providing the information about the rallies and what really goes on at the rallies. I noticed that both on Fox Business News and also on the Hannity Show, where they made comments about what was going on with the senators' town hall meetings. And had you not taken the time to voice that, we wouldn't have heard anything. And last night, my wife watching that said, why don't we hear anything more about that from other media, like the newspaper and the TV stations? And
no. They're not going to do that, David. They're going to have their own, most of them, not all, going to have their own slant on it. That was all set up, and These people don't want free speech. What they want is they want a freedom to embarrass a congressman and get on TV. You heard the tapes. You heard the tapes. You can go to KPL's website or my Facebook or the Dead Pelican had it. I mean, you can go listen for yourself. It's all set up. It's all designed to get the pub, and it just shows how fake they are. So I'm glad the national story is running with some of the stuff we all were able to put out.
Well, I did appreciate that, and also I appreciated the gentleman that got on and talked about the Trump rallies, and that's what needs to take place. Some of us need to stand up. The Democrats do some things, and sometimes some peculiar, to say the least, ways, but you do have to give credit. Either they're well organized, and usually that's the case. There's nothing wrong with us standing up, though, for what we believe. Just one last comment. Earlier on, you were talking about the tax situation here in this state, and all those wonderful politicians that are still in office that have been responsible for the position that we're in. There's a question that they ought to answer this morning in the newspaper. There's a big headline: the state of Louisiana ranked last in the nation, dead last.
Oh yeah, I got it. I got it right here. But if I looked at that, David. If you look at it really close, it's all. And you look at the states that are high, they're big government states, though. You look at what they want. So basically, I think this is put out there because, by the way, we got an F in public integrity report card among 41st among the states. F. Yeah. Well, public integrity is Colonel Edmondson. He goes, they go have fun, they spend the money, they don't want. That's the big reason. Colonel,
it just keeps going on and on and on, and maybe one of these days we'll be smart enough to figure it out.
Bill Edwards needs to get rid of Edmondson. If he's not, he's still part of the problem. He was part of the problem doing the budget as well. Anyway, I got to run, David. God bless you, man. Thanks for your kind words.
We'll talk to you later.
Yes, sir. We're going to take a break. One more segment to go. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. We'll be right back. I didn't realize that federal workers are off too.
Now that one I'm not completely sure. But
Banks closed today?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. I do have to mention my good friends at AcadianTotalSecurity.com. Acadian Total Security, when we wanted an alarm system, I'm so glad we picked these people. Oh, there's a lot of good companies out there, but Acadian Total Security sets themselves apart from everybody else. You remember Acadian Ambulance? You see them all around. It's the same company. They just decided they wanted to, not only were they trying to help people, now they really want to help people before a disaster hits, before somebody can get to your house and get into your property. Acadian Total Security gives you that total security, that your loved ones and your home is protected. And that's all you want. But I'll tell you what, the new apps that they have doing things from the telephone and the iPhone, I gave that to somebody. It's phenomenal. The cameras around your house, the cameras in your house, the sensors, phenomenal. The way the technology works now with home security is phenomenal. And Acadian Total Security knows all about it. Let the experts at Acadian Total Security come in and get your business or your house, no matter how big or small, taken care of. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter how big or small. And you get to pick your plan because they're going to customize a plan for you, with you. They're not going to customize a plan and say, here's what you're getting. They're going to sit down with you and find out what you want and what you need. That's Acadian Total Security. Anyway, check them out, AcadianTotalSecurity.com, or call them 855-222-3426. 855-222-3426. All right, let's go to, is it Christine in Keithville? How you doing, yes. Christine?
I'm doing wonderfully, Moon. Thank you for taking my call.
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to comment on the town meeting.
Yeah.
And all I can say is, God forgive them, for they know not what they're doing. Those people that are shouting down Jesus. And for the true Christians, keep your lamp light going, because we are on a very fast, slippery slope, and we're picking up speed.
Yeah, well, but it's been like that. Hey, Christine, I think you agree. It's been like that. It's been like that a while.
Oh, Oh, it's been like that. I mean, we were in the end times in the first century after Christ died. But the thing is, we're picking up speed further and further. My daddy used to say, he's been dead 25 years now, I guess. We were on a bobsled ride to hell, and the speed is picking up.
Yeah.
And they don't care. They used to cover these things. They were there, but they covered them. Now they don't care, and it's out in the open.
Yeah, no, you're right about that now. There's no cover.
There isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is no cover.
And that's the speed. That's the speed we're picking up. And there are a lot of Christians out there that are wolves in sheep's clothing, and they are trying to play stumbling blocks and pull a true Christian from Christ. But Christ said that who his Father gave to him, no one can snatch away. So please hold that in their hand.
All righty, darling. Thank you for the call. Let's move on to Miss Kathy in New Iberia. Miss Kathy, how you doing, babe?
Good morning.
By the way, I was enjoying succulent raw oysters and beautiful ball crawfish at Shucks last night. And I thought about you right when I was leaving. Now go ahead.
Monday? They closed on Monday, huh?
No, they're not closed on Mondays. They close on Sundays. They open Monday through Saturday. So you don't know. You're not a good Shucks padre like I am.
I'm old and I can't remember which place is open.
By the way, she said she was old, so I'm not calling her a young lady. Go ahead, go ahead, Kathy.
Wait, Moon. I was telling Brandon. I said I was bored today, so I'm listening to you.
You were born today?
Bored.
Oh, bored. Oh, that's the only people listening to me anywhere are bored with. But go ahead.
No. I went to the town hall, as you well know, and I'm almost sure I was probably the first conservative there because they were already there. I would say about 50 of them. For the most part, they were polite, but they had their little instructions, and they kept going amongst themselves and telling them, don't forget to do this and don't forget to do that. And then there was a gentleman who walked up in a coat and tie, which I found out, of course, he was the lawyer. So they all had name tags. They all had name tags on, and they had their name and a zip code underneath.
God have mercy.
But
by the way, Kathy, didn't you make it in? Were you the one who told me you made it into the deal?
I made it in. Yeah, boo, but I've got connections.
Hey, I know the same low life you know.
Watch out. That's family, boo. That's family.
Well, case in point. Go ahead.
The lawyer told them to remove the name tags because he said they're going to know you automatically and they're not going to call on you. But I want to give credit. And yes, I did end up having a connection, so I ended up on the very first row.
I tell you what, you really got some people you know in low life positions. But go ahead.
Well, I mean, people. My face has been around even before you, Moon, with politics. So my face is familiar to some people, and I did have the opportunity to get up there and get close. I will tell you, though, the difference in this one is, number one, they did not let us in early. I don't think they opened those doors till about 9 o'clock, give or take. When we got in there, and forgive me, I don't remember the Brobridge mayor's name, but between him and the sheriff's department, and I'm not sure about the city of Brobridge having police or not, there was quite an assemblance of police officers from quite a ways around.
They wouldn't know. The left didn't bring any Barney Fife signs, did they?
There was a ton of signs. They did not allow the signs in.
Okay, good.
Did not.
By the way, I like that. I think they should have been outside.
Oh, okay. They started with.
Hey, Kathy, I got to go because of time. I'm sorry. We'll do it again tomorrow. God bless. We'll go, folks. Have a great day.
Real quickly, Moon, before we go, we want to say one of the wives of a federal worker said that post offices are open today. So
I was hoping they were open. All right. Thanks, Brandon. Appreciate it. All right. God bless. See you tomorrow.